Welcome back, folks. We have been working on Twilight, written by Melissa Rosenberg. So let's just jump right in and see what Melissa can teach us. All right, let's move on to something else. 38. This is something I really like. This is something that I will want to do in the future, especially when I feel that the reader might get confused. I hate that. Don't you hate when you write a screenplay and you bring it to a screenwriting group? By the way, if you're not part of a screenwriting group, why not? They're your people. They're just like you. You should be around them. Okay, anyway, page 38, top of the page, we see a collection of haphazard shacks and boat docks connected by wood plank sidewalks. Find Waylon Forge, the hippie logger who used to play Santa Claus. Now, we jump back. There's a scene in a Forks diner, Forks Diner, I believe it is, and Bella and her father are in a booth and they're having breakfast. And Bella has not been back to Forks, this little podunk town, in a long time. And one of the townsfolk comes up, and it happens to be Waylon Forge, and he mentions to her that he played Santa Claus once. Doesn't she remember him? Kind of a nice, endearing, little uncomfortable moment, a little awkward, but nice. That's the only time we see him. And then, when we come back to him on page 38, he is about to die. So, if we only see him once in the beginning for this little Santa Claus moment and stuff, and it was a good moment, when we cut back to him, and the only other time we come back to him is here, is it okay to put in parentheses the hippie logger who used to play Santa Claus? And I say yes. She doesn't say exactly who he is. She words it in the hippie logger who used to play Santa Claus. She doesn't say to Bella. She doesn't say only one time. She doesn't say that this is the friend of the father for 30 years. It's explained later, of course, or before, depending on when the information is revealed. But here, it is only necessary to say to the writer, I believe, the hippie logger who used to play Santa Claus. Because when I read that, I knew exactly who it was. And I knew exactly who it was in relation to the main character, which is kind of cool. So then we feel bad that he gets killed, even though he's kind of weird, you know? So when you do that and you only have a character once in a while and you bring him back after a lot has happened, and remember, we've gone over a lot here. A lot has happened. Do you think your reader should, by default, remember who that character is if they've only seen him once and they've been dealing with all of this? No, don't put that much burden. This might be the 5th script that reader is reading today, you know? So help them out a little bit. Not too much. Don't go overboard. But the way that Melissa Rosenberg does it in here is very effective, and I'm gonna take note of that. So you should too. All right. 40. Remember we talked about parentheticals. On 40, a couple of lines down, a few lines down, Bella says, Port Angeles, ... I like what she has here. She has a question mark and then ... You can also do ... and question mark. I think both ways are acceptable. But I like that. I like when you really, really play with the punctuation. But more importantly is the parenthetical, where it says a plan forming in her mind, and then she says, "Can I go with you? Can I go with you guys?" I like that, and the reason that I like that is because the amount of time for her to project that moment, that plan forming in her mind, is very short. And if you were to make it action description, and you very well could, no problem, it just lengthens it. And I think this gets it really, really tight, really everything in one little spot. So she goes, Port Angeles, can I go with you guys? See, it's a great little moment, but it's on paper. But I see it in my head. It's kind of nice. I'm not sure if they did that. I think, they did do that in the movie. Yes, they did. And I think they did it very effectively in the movie, too. So let's move on. Oh, so consider, before we move on, consider your parentheticals and what they can do for you. Not just using them, but using them effectively on the page to lead the reader in your story. Okay, we're going to end here. I will see you next week. My name is David Mulligan, and this is the Writers Bloc for Virtual Channel Network.